Firstly, so good to be back to college. I didn't study in this college, but it's always good to be, meet energy like this. ఎంతమంది తెలుగు వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు అందరు తెలుగు ఎనీ నాన్ తెలుగు ఎవరైనా నాన్ తెలుగు పీపుల్ ఉన్నారు ఎనీ నాన్ తెలుగు పీపుల్ ఓకే let me introduce myself. I'm Harsha Chemudu. I'm like what Biswapati Sarkar is for you. I'm like that in Telugu people. I dress up and make jokes for a living. So anybody who does not look like Hrithik Roshan has to make it up by being funny. So I'll start with August 31st, 1990. You know the significance of August 31st, 1990? Your man was born. Yes. A few months after I was born, I was diagnosed with asthma. And because of asthma, I was prescribed steroids, which was supposed to be given for a 5-year-old because the attack was massive. But that was permanent damage done by a doctor who skipped his classes. And but I was the one on the receiving end. Well, anyway, so okay, let's get to the part where every TED talk starts with that kid who dreamed. Even I was that kid who dreamt, and even before life could give me a reality check, there was little Harsha. Wow. Yeah, little Harsha sounds like a name of a rapper. I even did that stint as a teenager while doing many things, figuring out what I was good at. And thank your stars, there were only 10 people in that nightclub. Otherwise, I would have become a rapper and you would have laughed a little less. So, and then, yeah, cut to my school days. I was not a very, active kid. I was a very inferior kid because no matter what, I had a lot of dreams. I wanted to become an army officer. I wanted to become a pilot. I wanted to become a rapper. Yeah, army officer to pilot to rapper. That escalated quickly, but life had other plans. There was constant bullying. There was constant fat shaming. And but that did not stop me from dreaming. I always dreamt about having a collection of super bikes, having a collection, going on a drive with my childhood crush, with Backstreet Boys playing in the background. And, and then I think from there it was only, I mean, growing up I had a very different childhood. I moved from my father was a banker and he had transfers every 3 to 5 years. So I studied in Visakhapatnam, then we moved to Goa. Yeah, Vizag to Goa. Yeah, it's great. Now it's the best part. From Goa we moved to Anakapalli. Yes, same reaction. So bullying and fat shaming was literally noob stuff. Wherever I went, I got this reaction. So they would do it on my face, and I was like, "What's wrong with them? What did I do?" So it was not my mistake. So I suffered a lot for something which I was not meant to. So then I started thinking, probably they're laughing at me is is just because of my existence. And that is my idea, which just did not breathe, but it gave me a CPR. Because deep down under, I think a part of me was always worried about the way I looked, and it was really bothering me. But then once I moved to college, I think it was that defense mechanism against bullying which pivoted my career from becoming an automobile engineer to an actor and comedian and what I am today. So I think you should never stop, focusing on what you like, what you love. You just be open to all. And then in college, this defense mechanism led me to do stage shows, short films, and then the classic Viva happened. So after Viva, I think a lot of things changed for us overnight, and the transition was really quick and sudden for all of us. It took a lot of time to understand what was happening, but then we got back to reality, and I thought, I had arrived. When I came to the film industry 13 years ago, every actor, director, producer, they wanted to work with me. I signed so many films. Life was so good. And just when I arrived, is when I realized that it was becoming monotonous. My whole thought of skipping a 9 to 5 job and choosing art over anything was that I would have a different lifestyle. I would do what I love. But even over here, it was becoming monotonous because I was in that constant effort to make people laugh more off screen than on screen just so that I could land a character in one of their films. That was getting boring. And the kind of roles I was getting also, again, it was circling back to that fat shaming shit. So I'm sorry for customers, but yeah, it was very, very monotonous. And then, but deep down in my heart, I knew that one Friday would change everything for me. And then color photo happened. So, so color photo transitioned me from Viva Harsha to Harsha Chemudu and told me that it's not about just being a comedian, but there was more inside me, there was more potential inside me. And I discovered myself like an actor, and we got a national award for that film. And yeah, looking back, I think my 30s, they're really exciting, because after color photo, I started taking up different characters, not just comedy. Then I got to play a lead in one of the films called Sundaram Master. Yes, yeah, the hero. I got to be the hero of that film. So I think that gave me that energy to do more, and now I'm not stopping, man. So recently I founded a couple of startups, and so all I'm trying to say is instead of having one big super goal, have a number of short-term goals, which will give you that energy to travel the extra mile. And it's okay to do different things, because when I chose acting, my father asked me, "Why did you do mechanical engineering when you wanted to become an actor?" But back then in our time, fortunately or unfortunately, you had to finish engineering to think of what you wanted to become. So first you have to do engineering, and then you can think of what you want to become. So I think now that the dynamics have changed, the demographic has changed, and it's I'll tell you a bad news. Nothing is permanent, but again, which is the good news? Because if things are going well in your life, it won't last long. Enjoy it. If things are going bad, don't worry, it can't last long. So just live life as you like it, and it's okay to be imperfect. The way you deal with your imperfections might inspire others. You only got one life. Live it to the fullest in